Hey, this is Chris Miles, your cash flow expert and anti-financial advisor. Hey, I want to talk to you about why investors love whole life insurance. Now, some love it when they get it. Others have no clue they can use it, right? And so I want to talk about both, right? Because here's the thing. If you're an investor like me, like you want money to work for you. You love leverage. You want cash flow now. You want to create returns and leverage and cash flow right away so you can create that freedom that you want, that lifestyle, right? And you totally reject all the Dave Ramsey stuff, the Susie Orman, all the traditional financial advisor stuff of investing in IRAs and 401ks, because you know you can do better. And that's exactly why investors, when they understand how at least I design whole life, it's a completely different way of using it, because it's not about this long-term thing where you throw money into it and it's locked away forever. This is something where you can actually create money with it right now. In fact, even better, you create money in two places at the same time. One place in your investments and one place the whole life with the same money. So let me talk about exactly what I mean when I say that. So when I talk about this, I create a supercharged savings account with this, right? Like I want this money working for me. It's tax-free. It's basically a tax-free savings account because if I keep my money in savings to invest, if I just take all my cash flow and profits from my investments and put it in my savings account, I know I'm earning jack squat, right? Because I'm only earning point nothing percent on that money. And then I get taxed on that point nothing percent. So my goal is to try to get in the savings account, build it up there, but not keep it there long term so I can take it back out and reinvest it again, redeploy that money. That's exactly the same strategy I'm talking about here. But instead of using a savings account, I'm using the life insurance instead to do that for me. I create this supercharged savings account that does that, where it's tax-free, it's protected from creditors and lawsuits. So if I get sued or if I owe people money, they can't tap into this. There's guaranteed growth, so instead of making point nothing percent, I'm making like possibly 4-5% or more returns on my money. And there's no stupid limits or penalties because I make too much money or because I don't want to wait till I'm 59 and a half to touch my stupid money. I want that money now. So I have no penalties for touching my money today. I don't have limits. I can dump in as much as I want. I have some investors putting in $5,000 a year and I have others putting in over $500,000 a year with this. And like I said, the key thing is you get cash now. And so what I do is I take the cash, I put it in my policy, I go and invest with it. I actually borrow from this policy. And I'll talk about the numbers in another video here about how to double dip your investment returns. But essentially, I'm borrowing from the insurance company, like the secured line of credit. It's like a HELOC, but the HELOC actually pays me interest, tax-free dividends, right? So I'm getting paid and leveraging this cash at the same time. So I put it into my investments. I get that cash flow. That cash flow comes and pays back in. I pay it back into my policy, which frees up that line of credit to do it again. And so I'm just cycling my money through the same way I would do it with my savings account, but I'm just using my life insurance. So let me give you an example. I just used like an example from one of my turnkey guys. He had a single family home and a duplex he had for sale. The down payment on these was $95,000. So I borrow from the cash I have in this policy. I get the cash in my policy. I borrow from the insurance company $95,000. Now my full amount, that $95,000 is still in there growing compound interest tax-free, right? It's still growing in there. But now I've got this line of credit from the insurance company. I can pay back however, whenever I want. Ooh, that's a cool thing, by the way. There's no minimum monthly payment like with HELOC. You can pay back however you want, even if you're flipping a property, where it might take a year or two before you get the cash back. No problem. They just charge you interest. You don't have to make minimum monthly payments. It's seriously freaking awesome how you can use it and leverage it as an investor. Now that $95,000 creates $1,070 a month. This is just like a turnkey couple properties, right? Well, that $1,070 a month I'm now using to put back in. Here's what's cool. Compared to what I would make on my savings account normally, I make an extra $21,000 off of that 95 in just 10 years. Simply using a different place. Instead of using my savings account that earns nothing, I'm now using my life insurance that I can access from day one. And that's one thing that most financial advisors and insurance agents won't do. They'll say, oh yeah, you got to wait so many years before you can touch this. No, like I've had people access it the next week and get to their money right away. And so yes, there's costs and everything. This is including that net gain, by the way, includes insurance costs. So even though there's costs coming out, if you design it just right, which most won't, if you design it just right, you can minimize the cost, maximize the ROI. And here's what happens. I essentially make an extra 2 to 3% net rate of return on top of my investment. So just like we mentioned, like even that cash flow you're getting on that one, those two properties, you're also making an additional 2 to 3% return on that same money. I mean, seriously, I had one investor who's putting in $500,000 a year and dumping in. He said, Chris, what would be the comparison here to using a savings account? Did the numbers with taxes and everything else, he would have to be earning 5.5% on a savings account with no costs on it, right? To match a life insurance that has some costs, but it's tax-free. He would have to be making 5.5%. Most people are only making 0.2% on their savings account. That's why investors love this, because they can get leverage. We're all about leverage. We're all about cash flow and creating speed and efficiency. That's exactly what this does. If you got more questions, you can shoot me an email, chris@moneyripples.com. You can also see my website, moneyripples.com, or listen to my podcast, The Chris Miles Money Show. So anyways, guys, I hope this was awesome for you. I hope you understand that it's amazing. Investors get it. They love it. They use it. If you're an investor and you're not using it yet, it's probably because somebody hasn't told you how to use it correctly yet. So that's what you need to learn here. I hope you enjoy this. We'll see you later.